specifically in the 2010 class, I do want to highlight a few of them that I've kept up with and really developed a relationship that extends out of SCA. And so one of them is Austin Scott, who went on to North Greenville, and in a year he'll be a registered doctor. He's at MUSC right now. Another one is Caleb Williams. His parents are here somewhere, right over there. And he's a portfolio manager for a mortgage company down in downtown Greenville. And so I was able to catch some lunch with him a little while ago. He's doing so well. Ben Heinz Jr. is a commercial real estate agent in Dallas. And Caitlin Turner, she went to Anderson. After that, she committed to 2 years to move to a small Southeast Asian village where she was a missionary and just gave up 2 years of her life to serve the Lord in that way. She's since come back and is a teacher at an inner city school. And so while we have gone all over the place, and there's so many different stories, different educators, Ricky Sawyer loved SCA so much she came back to work here. But we've all gone our separate paths, but the one commonality is SCA brought us all together. We're all still friends. The biblical worldview, it invades every part of your life. And that's what I learned at SCA. So it's not a compartmentalized faith. It's a faith that reaches, if you're a Christian, that goes before everything, every other title that you could have. I'm a Christian worker that just happens to have this job. You're a Christian headmaster, and that pervades everything. And so when you have that, you're not scared of other worldviews. You're not scared of other belief systems because you know the truth. You can dialogue with them, you can interact with them, and there's no fear that, oh, maybe I don't know what I believe, I'm on shaky ground. You're on the firmest ground there is. And so that's what SCA helped me with on biblical worldview. It gave me the view that I can go out and I can make a difference because I know what's right. So when I think back on SCA, my time here isn't marked by anything athletic or academic, anything on that. It's marked by the relationships. It's marked by the people. And a fun little story is the second week I was at college, I get a letter in the mail from Alexa Newman, who is head of CPC, Chrysalis' sister, and in it she had $20. It might as well have been $100. I was so excited to have that $20 in college. I already planned it out. I'm going to Walmart. I'm going to buy 15 packs of Oreos. I'm going to buy a big old gallon of milk. I'm done for the weekend. I'm just going to sit there and do it. So sure enough, I go to Walmart, and as I'm heading that way, a woman comes up to me, and she says, "Hey, can you buy some diapers for my daughter?" And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm sure. Like, I'm running the calculations in my head because I don't know. Dan, you've never bought diapers before. They look like they're paper, maybe some tissue paper and some cotton balls in there. So that's all cheap. Like, $2 to $5. And so I can still get 10 packs of Oreos. I can get a gallon of milk. And so I check out. Sure enough, that pack of diapers was $20 exactly. The same day, Alexa had sent that to me. And so right away, I'll confess my heart was not in the right place. I'm just thinking, dadgummit, God, my grandparents send me money and you don't use it. I get to spend it on whatever I want. The first time Alexa ever sends me something, it automatically gets used. And so it's stories like that where if you want to be a champion, you have to be around other champions. You have to train with the champions. And so SCA put me in contact with people that were running that same route, that were doing the same thing on that Christian race where I'm trying to learn and grow and be what I'm supposed to be. And you know what? I have leaders above me that are already there, that are already doing incredible things. And so it's just stories like that where you get in contact with some really incredible, godly people that makes all the difference.
From that standpoint, but the words that you had to me when I talked about that was Ravada flew back. He flew in when? Today? Yesterday?
Yeah, this morning.
This morning, fly back on Sunday. For our time tonight, all the way from California, you said you would have done it for 5 minutes. Why?
That's the easiest question. It really is, because I was thinking on that, and whenever my parents were writing checks to SCA, on that memo line in the bottom left corner, they would write October 2008, spring 2009. They're paying for my school ahead of time. And so while they were doing that with the best intentions, they couldn't have been more wrong. Because while those dates have passed and those checks have been cashed, the education hasn't stopped. Because I can walk in here and I can say hey to my teachers. I can call up a teacher. I can text a teacher. And I can walk in your office. I can see Pastor Hamlet. I can see all these people that have been there since I was little and just pushing me, lead, don't follow, lead, don't follow. And so whenever I brought my wife here for the first time, brought her to a basketball game, and afterwards she looked at me like I was the strangest thing. Not because of this, but it's, she looked and she said, "You still remember and like your teachers, and they still remember and some of them still like you." And in my mind, that was normal. She went to an incredible prep school in DC, and amazing education. But they didn't have that, and she doesn't have that. And so what was normal to me, I soon discovered was incredibly rare. And that's unfortunate, because that's what we need. Because I'm one of those people that if I'm assigned a new task or a new job or something to do, I expect to get trained up on it to do that job. I expect to be given the tools needed. And the same principle applies for education. Because you just don't get pushed out without having any idea what you're doing. You need to get that, like what I call the greenhouse effect, the spiritual greenhouse of SCA, because I came in here, I was able to develop my roots. And so whenever the storms of life came along, whenever the wind and rain and everything started blowing around me, I was solid. I was rooted in what I believed. And I also had a network, a great safety net of many, many people, many in this room, that I knew loved me, cared about me, and had seen me from when I was little all the way to whenever I was supposed to be out in the open. And so SCA, it's weird because SCA doesn't view graduation as the finish line like most schools. Most schools are just trying to get you out. SCA views it as a starting line, because you actually get to go out and live your faith and what you've been taught. Because I'll get taught here, I would go home, it'd be reinforced, then I'll come back the next morning and learn again. And so it's things like that, and that's why I will always, always get back to SCA. It's not even hesitation, because I know there's kids. There's a kid in those halls that was just like me and needed the same accountability, needed the same love, needed the same guidance that I needed. And so I want to continue paying that forward just because it's the right thing to do. And so